on donation in Richland, so and so that'll
Oh, yeah.
hopefully come up, and you can all, but that won't be until maybe June, maybe May or June.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I
You'll
think
have-
I saw that. I think I saw that you said somebody had picked that one up. So that's cool.
Yeah, but anyone out there, does anyone need a table in our audience today?
I've
course-
got one.
Okay. Anyone that's listening now, any need a table? Because we had a couple people drop out because they're found out they have conflicting schedules.
Were you just doing limited number of tables?
No, we're trying to get a dozen people to come out. I think I've only got 10 or 11, but we've got one table that dropped out. So we've got like 2 tables open.
Now, you know, Saturday is supposed to be a dry day, so
It's gonna be
if somebody
beautiful.
also didn't want to come indoors, somebody could set, you know, a table out in the parking lot.
Yeah. Yeah, right now we need more vendors than anything else.
Maybe
Okay.
we'll just all show up and everybody will just sell radios back and forth to each other or something. I don't know.
Okay, so Franklin, let me know if you can be there and do a Zoom auction, and then I'll just mention it to everyone to pay attention, and we'll try to auction
Okay.
that stuff off.
Okay, sounds good. I'll let you know.
We might even Zoom the meeting, parts of the meeting to show the people what's on the tables.
Oh yeah, I can do that too.
Because some people
Cool.
might want it and they can get in touch with the members and then maybe get it that way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Okay, I'll turn it over to you.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So ask everybody to mute their mics so that they don't interrupt on accident. So, and because I'm recording to put this on YouTube. So,
Okay.
okay. Thanks
All
everybody.
right. Thanks, Franklin. Everybody is familiar, if you've worked on any of the older Philcos, from mainly in the 30s, some early 40s, the Philco Bakelite blocks. These are Bakelite blocks that primarily hold capacitors, but I have seen them also where they will hold a capacitor and a resistor, both depending on the circuit that it's being used in, that type of thing. And what you need to do on the bottom side underneath on they have these solder lugs on top, and that's where all your connections are made. And then they have a wax paper capacitor that is embedded in tar, and the tar fills up, as you can see right there in the bottom of this, the tar fills up the whole capacitor. So if you want to rebuild these, and that's what I recommend, because I mean, you can take and put capacitors around these, and people have done that and successfully, but I like to rebuild these and put the new capacitors back in where the old ones were inside the Bakelite blocks, because it just makes a nicer, cleaner restoration, under the chassis. So what I've found is I've got a method for removing the tar out of these things without having to heat it up, and then it turns into a big syrupy mess, when you heat that tar up, and then it starts coming out. And then usually, and I've done it that way before until I came up with this method, and then you just take a screwdriver or something, you just start peeling it all out of there, and then you have all of this broken up pieces of tar, and then you got to fish the capacitor out of there as well. And so we'll just get started on what I have done. But what I like to do is I like to drill down through the tar before you do anything. Let me get that right. And how I do that, I'll take and then I get it heated up, and then basically just pull the whole thing out. And usually it'll all come out of the housing in one shot. And then it makes it all a real nice, clean Bakelite housing there to work with, and then you can put your new capacitor in there. And so what I do is I'll get a sheet metal screw. Let me grab that real quick. And what you have to do on these, you can't just take and screw the sheet metal screw right into the tar, because it takes up, what it'll start doing is expanding everything, and eventually then you'll break the Bakelite. They're pretty thin, and of course they're made of Bakelite, so they're going to break, you know, if you put too much pressure on them. So what you have to do is you need to take a drill bit. Here's the screw and here's the drill bit. And you need to get a drill bit that's just the right size. It's going to be not too big, not too small, so that it pretty much takes up the diameter of the metal portion of the sheet metal screw, but you don't want it too big, otherwise the screw's not going to hold when you bury it down in there. And then the second thing I do on the drill bit is, before I drill it out, and I use a drill press. You don't have to do that. You can do this with just a regular hand drill. But what I try to do here, let me see if I can show you this. Let's see, there's the Bakelite block. And here's the drill bit. You want to not get it so it's going to go too deep, because if you do, you'll go clear through the Bakelite block. So what I've done, if you can see there, I've measured it out and then wrapped a little bit of masking tape around the drill bit, and that's my guide. So to make sure when I go down into this thing, I'm not going to go too deep. And usually what you'll end up doing too, you'll be able to tell when you're drilling down through the tar, you'll feel where you hit the capacitor, and that's good. You just keep drilling. You drill right on into that capacitor, because it'll help hold the sheet metal screw, you know, and when you go to get this thing set up to where you can pull the tar out. So that'll be the step one, is let me turn this thing around and see if I might have to move this. Hold on. Not totally prepared for this tech talk, but I'll get it going here. See if you can see that. Can everybody see the drill press okay? I guess. Well, anyway, and, go ahead and put your drill bit in there. See how that camera angle is on this. There, I think that's pretty good. Then what I do, I'll just put that's a little high. Lower this down a little bit. Hold on. There we go. I just put my Bakelite block up here on top of this vise. Turn it on. And I just like to go right pretty much in the center. It's not critical. And then drill right on down through the thing. Yeah, that's pretty good. Like that. And let me grab a screwdriver. And then I'm all set to put the sheet metal screw in, so that I can pull this, take it over and put it on the vise is what we're going to do next. And then, but before we do that, there's a couple of things you want to do. Let me grab some cutters. All right, there we go. Now, all the leads coming up out of the capacitor come up through two places. In this particular capacitor, it's a single capacitor bypass capacitor in the circuit, and it's got a wire coming up on this back side here, and then another one comes up on the ground side where the bolt is that bolts it in. So this is your ground lug right here. Then the other end of the capacitor comes out through here. So what you need to do is take some cutters like these, and then you let me see, I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, and you want to get in here next to where the leads come, so that when you go to pull everything out, you don't have the wires still connected to the lugs. And so what I usually do, I'll get in here and cut those out pretty good.
Right.
I desolder this stuff too. Usually you can either use solder wick or use a solder sucker. And then that usually works pretty good for desoldering everything on this. But then you can't get all of it. And I usually like to cut down through to make sure the wires are all cut out. That one there looks like it is pretty good. And then this one, now the center lug, that's just used for a tie-off point. And they'll put any kind of other circuit or whatever along on this, the center lug here out of the 3 is actually not being used for the capacitor in this Bakelite block. But it's convenient because if you have someplace you want to use as a tie-off, there it is. So now we go ahead and we'll put the screw right there into the tar. And this is kind of a little bit of work, but the end result is that you don't end up with a bunch of tar that you have to, let me see if I can show you what I'm doing here. I don't know. So I'm just screwing that screw right down into the hole that I drilled. And it goes in nicely and get it down in there pretty good. So it's got pretty good grip. Okay, now move this computer and everything over onto the other bench where the vise is, and then I'll show you that stuff. Okay, we'll travel over here. And let's see. There's my scope. Let's see. I don't know if that's lined up right. I got to get it lined, like I say, lined up right on the vise. There we are. Okay, now I hope you can see that vise. I have also, what's that? Everybody see that okay? I hope. Anyway, I just use a bolt here, and I put a couple of nuts down on one end and just to hold it. And then I've got those locked on, and then I have another nut here on the other end. What I do is I put this through the Bakelite block. I'll show you. Like this. Here. And then put the nut on the other end. And then the single nut here goes on this end here because I'm going to put this other end, I'm going to lock it into the vise. Okay, get a nut driver on it. Actually, I'm going to put this in the, maybe if I put some light on this, see how this works. Does that help or hinder?
The light helps.
Or can you see that or not?
No, it's good,
I
Mike.
don't know if you can see the Bakelite. Is it good? Okay, good. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. And then just go ahead and take your nut driver. I'll be careful. You know, don't overdo any of this stuff. And then get a pair of regular pliers like this. And then I get my heat gun. This is just a regular heat gun, and it's got 2 settings on it. Then what you want to do, oops, turn that on. Just turn the heat gun and then start going around the Bakelite block with it like that. Get it on all sides here, kind of evenly. You'll see the tar start to melt. So then what you want to do is put the pliers on your screw like that. Now just, you don't want to break the Bakelite block. You got to be careful, but just put a little bit of pressure on it, you know, as you're heating it up. Then you'll see the sides start to kind of melt, you know. There she goes. And there it is. All comes out in one big chunk. So you can see that.
It's just like a
You
dentist.
can see there's part of the capacitor. There's part of the capacitor sticking through the edge of the tar like that. And now you got to wait for this to cool off because it's a little hot. And the next thing I like to do is ouch, that is hot. Is unscrew the nut off of here so I can get the block back out like that. And the holes are all nice. And see, here is the cleaned out inside. See if you can see that okay, of the Bakelite block. It's just really nice, clean. And now you got a nice, clean unit to work with. And then I should have had that turned on, but I didn't. Then what you can do from there is actually make it easy, tip this up like that. And then what I like to do, actually I should have left that. Well, no, you have to turn it around. It was in the other direction. Now, get this kind of set up so that helps you hold on to this thing when you go to solder. And then 0.04, there we are. And in the schematic, I'll show you that in a second. Schematic calls for this bypass capacitor as a 0.05. So I've got a 0.05, I've got a 0.047 axle capacitor, just a normal 600 volt, nothing fancy. And then I just turn the leads sideways like this. Now remember, we want to go on each end of this. So then as you look down inside the thing, we're going to stick the leads through each hole on each end. And one's going to go to ground. And then the other one is what it's come off of is B plus. So this circuit is 0.047 or 0.05 capacitor going to from B plus to chassis. So what I like to do is get the leads through there like that, and then just stick this back on that bolt. This thing's really handy for holding everything. Okay, either direction depending on what you're doing. And tighten that up a little. There we go. Solder legs. Get my needle nose and my cutters over here. It's got they sit right in the middle, and that's where these wires go on the capacitors, and that kind of that little center lug. Okay, and I just like to wrap it around that center lug. You know, I turn. Oh, that thing, it's not letting me in. Oh, this one's a little stubborn. There's no room to put the wire in behind it, which is not a big issue when you get. Oh, there we go. Okay. Then just go around it pretty tight like that. And you just need one good turn, usually. Cut this. There we are. And solder iron. Here we are. There we go. And I hope if everybody can see that, I don't know. But anyway, just go ahead and solder it normally onto there. There we go. Same with this one here. This lug sticks up a little better. And this is your ground side. Connected right to the bolt when you bolt this back in, and that's got a sheet metal screw that goes right down into the chassis. So it usually gives you a good ground. And I usually like to take and put on my bolt, when I bolt this into the radio, I'll put a star washer on here. So then it's going to make good contact onto that part there. So we'll cut this lead off here. And there we are. Bit. Okay, looks good. Okay, put that back. get the soldering iron onto the computer screen or something, you know, don't want to do that. And there we are. Now our capacitor Bakelite block has all been recapped and all ready to go back in the radio. I've got a couple things here on removing the Bakelite block from the radio. Anyway, there it is. And then that's what it looks like with the new capacitor in there. See that okay? Okay. Oh, scared me. That was my bunch of drill bits. Anyhow, show you this real quick. I don't know if you can, how well you can see this. Let me see. Let me tip this back up a little there. Anyway, there's the schematic, and I've got it outlined in red there that one circuit, all it is coming off a B plus, going through the capacitor, and then it goes to chassis ground right there. But what I do usually, rather than depending on that, because you normally, and like here's the other half of that, you have that, remember I told you about this center lead here that's not connected, and they use that a lot of times as tie-off points. Well, when you're in the radio, I usually like to draw a little picture, and let's see, like this, and I'll draw a picture of the Bakelite block, and then there's a couple of coils, and then there's a 27 oscillator tube socket right there, and then down here's a 24A. That is the first, that is the IF amplifier, and then you've got the first and second IF coils I drew in this thing. And then I made lines showing, see where the lines are. They're showing where all of the wires are going to that capacitor. I didn't put any lines on that the tie-off point there, but in reality, you'll have those on there, and then you want to draw a picture of where they go, because it'll never be in the schematic. You know, it's just a tie-off point. That's the most important part of this. And then just draw yourself a little road map before you go pulling the Bakelite block out of the radio. It always helps a lot that way, you know, especially for stuff like that where you're going to have tie-off points and whatnot. So anyway, if you want to turn on the volume to everybody, if anybody's got questions on this. Let's see.
You're not going to put the tar back in?
No, I don't like putting the tar back in myself. You can do that. Or you can put epoxy, you can do anything you want if you want, but I choose not to. I just try to finish them up like this. So anyway, but I found this method here with the sheet metal screw and drilling it out a little bit, I'm able to get all of that tar out of there, and it doesn't make a mess.
That's really sweet. Yeah.
So
Did they put the
questions?
tar in there?
What?
Yeah, did they put the tar in there for microphonics?
No.
No, I don't think so. I don't know.
I think they were trying to seal a capacitor from moisture.
Yeah, that's what I think.
not-
I don't think it has anything to do with the actual function of the capacitor by having it in tar. A lot of manufacturers did that back in the 30s and even the 20s, and they put some of them, like RCA, they had a great big giant can in, like for instance, in a model R7, and they put all your bypass and coupling capacitors all up into that thing. You know, the electrolytics were separate, but they put them all, and the whole radio all went into that one can. It's a trip to work on.
Wow.
So, but I think Bruce is right. I believe that's probably it. They just had it to eliminate moisture.
Yeah, they didn't have the capacitor sealed that well back in that time.
Like
So-
Samsung with their silicone.
No, they didn't have any silicone back then.
That's what Samsung did with their control boards. They just fill them up with silicone, so you can't be repaired.
Oh, okay. So anyway, any other questions or anything, or?
Mike, do you by chance have the drill bit size and the type of?
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure, you can get different sizes of sheet metal screws like that. I'm not sure. And they go like, 6, 8, 10, that type of thing. I'm not sure what this is. What
That
I
looks like
always do, and that happens to be the drill bit I used was a 7/64. Okay. It's just slightly under 1/8 of an inch. But if you go with 1/8 of an inch, it's too big. Or if you go, I believe it's like, I can't remember the next size down. I think it's 5/32 or something, but if you go, yeah, 7/64, then, 3/32. If you go too small, then that's a danger, because then it starts to expand the Bakelite and then it can break the case. So you kind of got to get it just right. And I just eyeball it, to be honest with you. What I do, Pat, is I'll take here's one that's close. I'll just hold the drill bit up next to the screw, and then if it covers the solid portion of the screw, then that's the drill bit you want. Because any one of these sheet metal screws, you can go to different sizes, but just use that as a guide to choose the right drill bit, so you're not going to break your case or have it slip out if the drill bit's too big. That's how I do it.
But of course, if you actually screw into the capacitor, you've got a good hold there.
Oh yeah, you do. See this? That's what this did. Is I went. See if you can see it. But see, I went right on into the capacitor right there. You can see part of the capacitor is there, because that'll really put a good hold on it. So then when you start putting pressure, and then the other thing too, like I mentioned before, don't get in a hurry and don't start pulling too hard. Just put a little bit of pressure. It doesn't take much, because when that tar heats up, it'll just suck right out real easy. So, because you don't want it to take a danger of breaking this. It could break this Bakelite block, because see the wall thickness on that is pretty darn thin, and so it's kind of fragile that way. You got to treat it with kid gloves.
Mike, will that Bakelite take a lot of heat?
What's that?
Will that Bakelite take a lot of heat? I mean, you have to be careful with that.
Bakelite seems to do fine. You can heat it up. I mean, you can't go crazy, and usually the amount of temperature you need to get the tar to melt is going to be a lot lower a melting point than the Bakelite would ever get to. So yeah, they can handle quite a bit of heat, because it never seems to hurt the Bakelite at all. And then it just takes a little bit of heat off that heat gun. And then you go slow with it and keep going around it. You want an even heat going around it, all the way around the thing. And then finally the tar will start to melt. You'll watch it. And then pretty soon, all of a sudden, the whole thing will just come right out. But you got to kind of be easy. Don't get too aggressive on how hard you pull on it.
So one comment there, Mike, when you moved the camera over, you had a lot of breakup. You were losing your bandwidth.
Oh, so how is it now?
It's
Do I need to move
fine
it?
now.
It's fine now. Okay.
But when you move the camera over there to the drill,
The vise?
yeah,
Oh.
you had a fair amount of breakup now and then.
Oh, shoot. All right. Yeah, I didn't know that. I'm out. My modem is clear inside the house, and I'm out in my shop, which is, I don't know, 50 feet, 70 feet or something from the house. It's a separate outbuilding in the back out here. And I've gotten pretty good bandwidth out. I mean, band strength out here, being that I'm quite a ways away. I might want to get one of those boosters and maybe put to boost the signal. I don't know if it starts to do that. But thanks, Bruce.
Yeah, you're fine the way you are right now.
Okay, good. Good. Yeah, I might have had, depending on which way the thing is pointing or something like that, and if it's receiving the signal.
Yeah, your antenna location, rotation or whatever when you were
Yeah,
yeah.
You're right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I can remember doing those the hard way. I took a little knife and dug all the stuff out of them.
Yeah, that's the way I used to do it too until I came up with this. Is I dig that stuff out, and then pretty soon it starts dripping out, and then you got then you got melted tar going all over the place, and it's kind of messy. And this I like this because you just put a screw in and suck the whole thing out all at once. So
I was working on a Atwater Camp power supply, and it's a big long can, and I don't know, it's what, 4 or 5 inches deep.
yeah.
One side is power transformer in the tar, then it's got a metal divider, and then it's got all these capacitors and an inductor. And those
Yeah.
capacitors
Oh
were
wow.
bad. But how do you get to them? Because they're going across this tar mess.
Oh jeez.
So anyway, what I did was set this thing on an induction cooktop, portable induction cooktop.
Yeah.
And I just put it on low and I let it run for, it must have been an hour.
Oh wow.
And anyway, had it in a vise and I tipped it over and all the guts come out. And there's some hanging there. So I brought the torch right up into the tar, to clean this wire off. And then I set the torch down right next to this plastic garbage can. I set the garbage can on fire.
Yeah. Jeez.
But anyway, then you slap the garbage can because it's on fire. And then that hot plastic sticks to your hand and oh God.
Oh no. Oh
But
man.
anyway, it worked pretty good to clean that tar out to get to that one
Wow.
section of that bloody power supply. So then
There.
let's see, here. Oh,
There
yeah.
we go. That's a little better.
So that's the inductor
Oh,
for
wow.
speaker pull up that's then capacitively coupled to the speaker. And that was in
My
there.
goodness.
And it's all
Look at
these
that.
iron wires.
Yeah.
That's what the induction cooktop would vibrate against. That.
Well, it wouldn't get through the can. But anyway,
Oh yeah.
it's got a bunch of fine wire in there. And of course, when it fell out, so did the wire broke. And so I just replaced it with a regular small output transformer. I just used the primary and didn't hook up the secondary. And so
Goodness sakes.
that's the pull-up inductor on the output tube.
Yeah,
I've tried it with a torch, trying to melt the tar out of a big can like that. And oh, geez, you just can't get a nice, even, slow heat. Oh my,
Must be an RCA.
nice, Pat.
there. That's better. I brought the charger back over here. So
Yeah, last week, you remember I was working on this one and this is the one I dropped and shattered the glass, which we don't know how to get back in. And I glued it together and it's terrible, but I did the wood part and I think it came out okay.
that's pretty good, Pat.
Looks good.
Oh, that looks nice. I like that.
Very nice.
You did a good job. That's great.
That's more than okay.
Yeah,
That's
it is.
excellent.
That's sweet. Good job, Pat.
Oh, thanks. I
So
just
you're
got
still-
one more tombstone to work on and then I'll run out of my wood projects.
Oh,
So I'm
gee,
gonna
maybe
have
we
to
can
buy
offer
some.
you, maybe we can offer you some to fix for us.
Those Pat, those pieces that go around the rectangular pieces that are like the frame for the dial, are those plastic or?
Yeah, it's plastic and I first tried to super glue it and it wouldn't hold and I used
Yeah.
JB Weld and then it would barely stick. So I had to like coat the backside with JB Weld. It's some kind of weird plastic and nothing really sticks to it very well. You can see the cracks and
Oh,
it's not very good.
well, Sonny gave me some adhesive and I can't remember the name of it. It's called like 3-to-1 something or other to glue Catalin with, because I had a Catalin and it had a crack in it, or actually some pieces broken. And he told me, he says, this glue here is the only stuff, he says, he's tried epoxy, super glue, everything else on Catalin, it doesn't work. But this stuff here, you have to mix it up like epoxy, and there's you mix it like 3 to 1, just like it says the name of it. And it glued that Catalin, because the Catalin's so smooth, you know, it doesn't have anything to hardly glue. And I wondered if maybe that stuff there would work on what you have.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, when you did your Catalan, how did you color it? How did you color the plastic so it would match?
Oh, I had the pieces were broke off. They broke clean. Yeah, I had the pieces that were they had broken, and they broke perfectly clean. So it made a complete perfect match, you know, when I glued them back together. And when I got done with it, you couldn't even see it. You couldn't even see where they were broken at all, because you'd have to be careful. You got to get it back on there, you know, perfectly, so that there's no crack left. And that stuff worked really good. I did it just like Sonny said. And but I asked him about it because I was trying to find out, you know, how do you glue Catalin, and he told me, he says that stuff works really good.
So is Catalin,
I have it up here.
is the Catalin a lot more breakable than the Bakelite?
I think it is, Bruce. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do you
Yeah.
think a windshield crack repair might stick? Or windshield?
I don't know, because that's glass. So, and this
Yeah, I
is
think-
plastic. Let me see if I've got that.
I think the Catalin is real brittle and really easy to break, because that was always, I remember one collector that had some, and his joke was if you tighten the screws down too much and you could hear your Catalin radio up in the shelf, you hear this little pop. And there destroyed your $5,000 Catalin radio because you had the screws too tight in the chassis. That's just.
Hey, Mike, take a look at this. Can you see the crack in this one?
Mike's not there.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
He's digging something
can
up
see it.
out of the garbage.
Like, I need some help on this. I got this radio really reasonably priced, and it's a Catalan, but whoever had it before me didn't glue it together. I mean, there's a lip.
wow.
You can feel it. So it's almost like, okay, if I can get that glue, maybe I could glue it, but then how do you can you color that glue so that it comes out kind of brown? So maybe we'll wait for Mike to get back.
I would suspect you'd have to have like a super glue so you
could
couldn't see it.
stuff. And I don't know where it's at, so oh well. That's fine. When I find it, Pat, I'll let you know what it is. I can't remember the name. And I think you get it at Tap Plastics too. It's where you buy it, over at Tap Plastics.
So Mark, you said something about coloring it. What do you
Well,
think?
I think you'd have to have a clear glue and have a real thin, so you wouldn't have, because I don't think you can color that stuff, because that was I thought that was the appeal, that all the different multicolors and stuff was, I mean, how would you do that?
Yeah, it's such a swirl. You know, I don't know how you do that.
All I could think of, you had something that would, was the glue, Mike, was that glue that Tony talked about? Was it like clear, like super glue or something like that?
It was an epoxy, and then one was kind of a brown and the other was kind of a clear, if I remember. I wish I could find that stuff. I think it's around here somewhere. I've got it in the shop someplace. I thought it was over with my other glues and stuff. I don't see it. But one was just kind of like an epoxy, where one was a little bit different color than the other. One was kind of a brown and the other one's kind of clear. And then you mix them together, and you have to mix one part 3 portions to one of the other. I remember that. And to make it come out right. So you have to kind of measure them out. It's not real critical. And then you just put it on really thin, and like because it's going to squeeze out. So you put just a little bit on there, not much. And then you then where your Catalin is broken, if it's a clean break, then you can just stick it back together exactly the way it came off. And then stuff works really good. You need to kind of let it set up too, you know. So if you have a way of clamping, or if you have two pieces that you have to clamp together, whatever, to make it hold, that works pretty good. But that's what I was looking for. I know I've got that stuff around here somewhere.
So its working time is in the minutes. It's not like super glue.
Hey, Bruce, can you hear me okay?
I can.
Were we supposed to have a museum meeting tonight by Zoom?
No,
I've got an email that says we do.
oh, well, I haven't looked at my email recently.
I tuned into it, but it wasn't there. I just wondered if you knew what happened.
Well, it's usually 3 o'clock on Friday.
Okay.
Let me look at my email.
Yeah,
Are
you
we gonna
guys,
have a big swap meet on Saturday?
Yeah, yeah. Are you gonna be there, Lyles? It's like 8 to noon, but Mike and I are gonna be there, or no, it's 9 to noon, but Mike and I will be there by 8.
Well, I'm not too sure if I'm gonna make it or not. I may not.
Okay, Lyles, I think he made a mistake on the date.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Although he said 7 o'clock, didn't he?
Yeah, the same time as this meeting. I went to that meeting and there wasn't anything there, so I jumped over to this one.
Because we normally don't have a 7 p.m.
That's true. Oh, well, who knows?
I think he's smoking something there.
It's just probably an oversight, Bruce.
Yeah,
Is our annual meeting going to be on Friday?
I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
There we go. All right, I'm back. I can't find it. It's around here somewhere, I know.
I see, Mike, the unfortunate thing is when the guy glued it back together, that there's some like chips. So there's missing
Yeah.
plastic. So it's not a perfectly, smooth crack. There's
Not a perfect match. Yeah.
yeah. So there's a little bit missing. So I was thinking, well, that's great. It looks like he may have used some good glue because it's holding, but there's like,
Yeah.
like
Well,
there's a
You really screwed the
finger down
alignment.
there.
Yeah, you really
Yeah.
screwed the alignment.
see, that's the real unfortunate part, is that if it didn't break cleanly, then yeah, when you go to glue it back together, then of course you're never going to have a nice
Yeah.
job. It's just it's going to show a crack or show something, or maybe even a gap. But that's the tough part there.
Yeah, that's why I was
I know
asking if
I've
you knew
used.
how to color.
Is that a Catalan radio you got, or is that Bakelite? What is that?
I think so. It's a DeWalt.
Okay, so what is that? Bakelite, or
I think it's
what's it
Catlin.
make? Huh?
It looks
Oh, is it
pearly.
Catalan? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
not worth anything because it's got all these cracks in it.
Yeah. Yeah. See, the pieces I glued were real small. They were like the feet in the back of the, and plus it was in the back of the radio too, so it wasn't a big deal. It was like on the bottom, it had like a piece that stuck down about a half an inch or quarter inch or so, the depth of the radio from front to back, and those were the feet for the radio. And that's the pieces that broke off. So it wasn't like a great big crack all the way across the whole radio like what you've got. These were very small little pieces to fix, and so it was quite a bit easier to make that come out nice. But yeah, it looks like a Catalan. I like that butterscotch on the grill.
Yeah, Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know what you'd do on that one, Pat.
yeah. I just might
Especially
sand it
since
just
it's
to get
already
smooth.
been,
Yeah,
especially since somebody already tried to repair it. But yeah, oh man, yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
pretty good scar.
yeah, and they're all over too. I mean, it must have really been dropped. There's a crack here and then on the bottom. But you
Yeah,
know, I mean,
what a drag.
I got nothing to lose. It's not worth anything. So
Yeah. But the problem with that is if it's glued back together already, I mean, I don't know what you'd do to fix that. You know, you'd have to try and put some filler in, and then like what Mark was saying, how do you get the color and the swirl and all that to come right? You know, that's the real tough part.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't either.
That's why the price is right.
Yeah.
So Pat, you're still unemployed?
Yeah, yeah. So I get to work and home and do all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
How are you guys doing on your shots there and stuff?
I got my second one Sunday.
I got my first one Friday here.
Wife got her first last Wednesday.
I'm
So we're
signed
getting
up for it, but
Well, they
I'm waiting for them to contact me.
yeah, here the clinic I go to, it's one of the first ones to be doing it, and I actually had a schedule, but then they were doing a walk-in, you know, for our age. You know, I'm 65 now, and that's what their age bracket they're doing, and plus other essential workers, and they have at the gymnasium, and they had it all organized, and you went down there and you got it, you know, showed them all your credentials, you know, your age and your Medicare card or whatever, and they gave us a time ticket, and then you came back during that time, and they had it all you know, like a production line, all organized out, and I think they did I think, well, the first time they did it the week before, I think they did about 800 or something like that during that day. So it's they seem to have it really organized good.
Yeah, they've been doing it at a convention center here in Portland, and boy, that's worked out real sweet. They've got that thing organized like you wouldn't believe.
Great.
And then at
I
the airport,
signed up.
they've been doing drive-through by the airport.
Yeah, and you know, if they offer the Johnson & Johnson, it's actually the effectiveness. It turns out I saw a deal about what the effectiveness means. It's really meaningless because Pfizer and Moderna, which is what I got, they did the testing when in a lull, I guess in the summer, and so the infection rate was lower. So the 95% just means that out of all the people that they, you know, didn't get it, you know, that was the percentage of who got it and who didn't. The Johnson & Johnson was done in other countries and during the peaks, and so the effective rate, you know, there might have been a lot more infections going on. So what they did say about all of them is that they're pretty much 100% protecting people, it sounds like. So that's the main thing. So, but it'd be nice to get this stuck only once, but
I got the Johnson & Johnson shot,
yeah,
Okay.
so I don't need to go get a second.
yeah, that's neat. Yeah, I got to go back in 3 weeks and from now and get another one. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
get
still
whatever you
waiting.
can get. Don't worry about what it is.
yeah,
I'm still
that's what they're
waiting.
saying.
I'm waiting for them to contact me. I signed up, but they haven't contacted me yet.
Well, sign up was pretty messy when I started. Oh, geez.
I'm
Spent
just
all
thinking,
this time on the web, answering questions over and over and over.
oh
The
boy.
software was just idiotic.
Well, they must have fixed it because I signed up it was pretty easy. I just answered a few questions and all that, and then gave them my email address and stuff, and then they're supposed to email me when when I can have a chance to get an appointment to go in. So I don't know.
Yeah. They've made a lot of improvements.
I think,
finally
yeah,
got to the point
yeah,
where
I think they have.
I could choose a time. Okay, here's this big calendar basically of times, and the green ones you can choose. The others have been used, and you click one. Oh no, it's gone. You click another. Oh, it's gone. Finally, you find one that you can turn it yourself from green to. But anyway,
Oh,
it took a while.
well, that's good. At least you got it.
And eventually they're gonna, I think, they're gonna get things straightened out. So if you've been vaccinated and then you can, right now, I think Hawaii still might make people go into quarantine or to, it's not totally automatic yet, but I guess they're working on that. So that'll be nice to travel freely again.
So how
Yeah,
are
it
they
will
going to
be.
tell if you're
That will be
been-
nice.
how are they going to tell if you're vaccinated or not? They're
I
gonna-
think you're gonna have a card you can carry with you if you want.
Ah,
They're going to
Yeah.
punch your driver's license, put a punch on there.
No, I think actually they're gonna give you a little vaccination card, I think.
So Bruce,
I
was the
didn't-
whole convention center set up for that, or do you have to go to a certain spot?
No, the whole convention center's set up. You go into one of the 2 underground parking lots when you've got a date. And you just go upstairs to the display area and you get in line and you go through a couple of stations, you got to fill a couple of things out. And it's just a mass of people moving. It bothered me a little bit. Okay, you're not supposed to be in crowds, right? There's a crowd. I mean, a damn good crowd. I would have
That's
rather done the airport run where they do it in your car. So you're
oh,
never
really?
around the crowd. My brother, he's up in Washington and he went to the Clark County Fairgrounds there. And anyway, he got an assignment in the morning and his wife was in the afternoon, but they both went in the car and said, hey, my wife's this afternoon, can we shoot her now? And so, yeah, they got them both in one shot, so to speak. But they were drive-through. And it still took about an hour. It took me about an hour going through the convention center.
Yeah.
With the cars lined up, but at least you're not in a crowd. So if you
Right.
can do the car thing,
Yeah, that sounds good.
but there's a lot of people to help there at the convention center. I mean, you're not going to get lost or forgotten. This time on the way out, they said, go sit in those seats facing the exit. And you got a little thing on your shirt here to tell you what time you can leave. You're supposed to stay there for 15 minutes to see if you react.
Really?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh.
Have a reaction.
anyway,
We did the same thing.
somebody just directed me right out the door and I went.
Let's see ya.
See ya. Okay. But yeah,
Well,
the first time I was waiting for 15 minutes.
not that,
What's Pat showing?
Well, this is my next
he's got
project.
another radio.
This is the one I've asked for molding, and I think Mike McCrow's got some, and he went to Blake's, but I wasn't able to make it to his place tonight, but this is the one where
Oh,
it's
yeah.
molding on the bottom, and so it's
Yeah.
Yeah,
kind of discolored.
I left that over at Blake's. So, grab that, see if you can make that work.
Yeah, I'm
Has,
pretty sure that.
has any, oh, good. Looks good, though. That'll look good once you get that on there.
Yeah, the molding
Has
only goes up
everybody
to here.
heard? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. Well, you can fix that, though, it looks like, if you sand that down. What
Yeah,
is
I'm
all
not
that?
sure.
It looks like,
Well, I, took all the finish off, but there's some kind of staining or something. It must be, I don't know, but it's above the line of where the molding would go.
Yeah.
Can you put whiter molding on
I don't
there,
know.
cover it up?
Kind of depends on what Mike got me.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think they're that tall. They're just normal. I think it came off of Philco. So has everybody heard about when the swap meet is going to be in Aurora? We changed the date to May 15th.
Yep.
Has everybody heard about that one?
So it's
I
May
think-
15th, huh?
Anyway,
That was
I
out
think
on
at
an
the last-
email.
did it go out on the email? Oh, good.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, I think Pat put it out on email, didn't he?
I think I read it on the email.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. All right, cool.
Huh? Phoenix?
I'm
Pat?
hoping we can have a nice swap sale down in Aurora by that time, but I don't know. Who knows?
Pat, are you gonna be able to print up some flyers for that so some of the members can hang them out around
Yeah,
areas
I
that
got
they
them.
live?
Yeah, I'm bringing them.
All right, because I can get some of those and then stick them up on, tape them up or billboard or just hand them to, people if I mention
Right,
old
right.
radios and stuff.
Yeah, you guys, I was thinking that maybe what we can do with the Jorgensen estate is maybe have like a meeting. We'll have our Zoom meeting in April, but maybe we can get the Grange like a week after the McCracken sale and just blow all these auction items out.
So the McCracken sale is that going to be on the 17th of April, I thought?
Yeah,
Yeah. So you wanted to do this auction there, what did you say, the week after?
yeah, the 24th. It's the Jorgensen one, but we'll still have a Zoom meeting
Okay.
on the 10th. We'll still have a Zoom meeting on the 10th, but then
Yeah,
that way,
Right.
people don't like the auctions at the same time as the meeting. They can go to the meeting and then they don't have to show up for the auction or vice versa.
right.
But I haven't gotten back from Judy.
Is
Or
this-
Judy hasn't gotten back to us yet because I asked her for a date and she hasn't replied.
Uh-huh. That McCracken sale down in Crawfordsville is that going to be the last one on the 17th, or are they going to have another one after that?
Don't know. If you look at Sonny's
Okay.
email, Sonny kind of thinks that there might be several, but I don't know. I mean, they've already had 2 so far.
Yeah, I know.
But there's a lot of stuff to get rid of, isn't there?
Yeah.
Are they getting
a lot
cheaper?
of-
Are the radios getting cheaper?
There's a lot of radios down there.
Be nice if they had one before the big one.
What was that?
I said it would be nice if they had another one like the last one before the big
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Because there were some like, I should have picked that one up, and there were a few there. I was thinking, maybe I should have gotten that one.
Yeah. Well, I want to go down there on the 17th and talk to Kathy and see what she's going to do. The question I'm going to ask her is, what are you going to do with all the stuff that doesn't sell? Because I was thinking that maybe what we could do is the NWVRS could get a donation from her of all the ones she can't sell, and then we'll give her a tax write-off, and it'll be all stuff that we can auction off, and it'll go to our education fund. But then she'll get a big tax write-off because we'll just do an inventory, and she can give us what doesn't sell.
Well, it doesn't hurt to ask, but yeah, you could try that one.
But Mike, yeah, willing, because you're the auctioneer, and I don't know if you want to auction that many radios.
Well, yeah, well, how many are there? I know, I think, talk to Ed, because I know he didn't want to get involved in any huge auctions like that. I know that much. I wouldn't mind it if I had some help. I know Blake and we traded off when we've done some of those other auctions, and that seems to work okay. I mean, I don't have a problem with it.
Okay, because the point is that we don't want to have this auction with any other of our business meetings or, regular meetings.
Yeah,
That way it's just a pure auction and we're not pressured to get it over with or, speed it up or whatever.
Right.
We can just do the auction.
yeah.
Couldn't you auction off 4 or 5 radios in a lot and then skip a lot of the singles unless they're
Oh, yeah.
valuable?
Yeah, we've done that before, depending on, what they are. Sometimes Christian is, they're like cheaper radios. We've done bundles before,
Mike, you're pretty good at it too. You're pretty fast, so you can
not
burn
an
through them.
issue.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've seen him burn through some radios fast.
Yeah. Yeah, when you get going, you can do that pretty quick. Nobody has any idea about, I know things are starting to open up. Does anybody has anybody heard anything? Pat, have you heard anything about when we might be looking at live meetings?
No, it all depends on the governor of the state of Oregon and what phase we're at. So haven't heard anything.
Right, yeah. I know. What did Washington, they went to phase 3 or something, didn't they, Pat, or something?
Yeah, I think something like that, but we're only concerned with Oregon because that's where the Abernathy
Right.
grain is.
Yeah,
usually-
no, I realize that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, from the Grange, we can have 25 to 50 people in that area, but I think that's 50 people at the Grange. I think that'd be too many.
It's pretty full.
That's about what we have in a normal meeting.
Right.
About.
I used to
give or
have
take.
about 60 in a normal meeting.
50 to 60, yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that right, Lyles?
Yeah, 50 or 60 sounds like too many. I think it's more like 30 or something like that. For a
But I mean,
meeting.
like what you used to have, when I was going there, the meetings used to have about 60 or so members showing up.
And that was
Typically.
full then, right? I mean, because it's full at 60.
Yeah.
I've been counting
Yeah.
them. So
Yeah,
it's really
that's
full
pretty
at 60.
full.
It's packed.
Now, how long
Yeah.
ago are you going back? Yeah, maybe if you go back a few years,
That's
that could be.
5 years for me, so.
Yeah, okay.
5 years
Yeah, Mark,
plus.
you got a good point. Yeah, maybe back then we did have a lot bigger turnout.
Okay.
A year and a half ago, we were in the 50, 60 area.
Yeah, exactly.
think
'cause I
so.
counted them.
See, it was just so long ago, you don't remember it.
Yeah.
I won't argue that.
Well, isn't the number posted in each of the call letters? Isn't that part of the
Yeah.
stats?
The minutes, I
Mhm.
thought.
I would think I would have the number of attendees in my minutes from back then.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So on our Zoom meetings, we're seeing maybe 26, something.
The most, yeah.
Bruce, that sounds about right.
Yeah, so that's about half the people showing up on Zoom. And here we got 13.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good for a weeknight.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that is pretty good.
And you're an hour earlier now.
Yeah.
Well, we
Oh,
were
yeah,
talking
Mark,
about,
Mark, is it dark where you are yet?
No, it's just that little bit, it's just it's just 5 o'clock. It doesn't go down here to about 6:30 now.
yeah,
Okay, so that's not
Right.
quite dark, but almost.
No, yeah, it's, yeah, if I don't, I should look up sunset, I guess, and see what time it is, but it's, You know, you'll catch up eventually, and then you'll have your sunset will be later, but about most we get is about summertime is about 7 when the
Okay.
sun goes down.
Yeah, because if we're able to open up, and we were talking about doing that tailgate sales and stuff like that, and we can kind of get away from auctions during our meeting time, and people can just bring stuff if they want to sell it, and they can just bring it to the club, and people can try and sell it and buy it. I mean, we're doing that already, but we were supposed to dedicate that once we get back to live meetings, and so we won't be doing so many auctions to take away from our club time.
I got a lot of stuff that belongs on the free table, you know.
Oh boy, yeah. I bet a lot of people do. Well, we haven't had a trash bash for a long time, so I'm sure people have got stuff saved up. I've been taking all my.
We had a trash bash last year. We had to get rid of all the whole teen stuff, right? We auctioned off, and didn't we recycle a bunch of stuff last year? I think Christian was
so.
there.
Yeah, I still have some of the stuff that I'd like to put on the free table. So yeah, that was that outdoor auction that I thought it worked out. That was a good auction. People should have showed up to that. There was plenty of room. It was a lot of room actually for outdoors. I mean, that was a lot of stuff. That was a lot of stuff, and it went for way cheap because there wasn't that many people there. There's a lot of good stuff there. That was a good auction though. I mean, there was a lot of stuff, and I got some stuff I could use because it was, I don't know, where did that come from, or do you know the majority of it?
Well, that was the auction. That was Hallsworth.
Yeah, because I have some of that that name on some of the equipment that I got. Hallsworth. Yeah,
Okay.
I got some stuff I could use, definitely.
Was he a member?
Pat?
I'm trying to think. He may have been at one time. I don't remember. Oh no, he was a Tektronix guy, wasn't he?
What's his name again?
I've got stuff that probably he's testing TVs or security systems. He was building security systems or video.
You're not talking Eric Holteen.
Holsworth.
No, Hallsworth.
Yeah, because I have some of the stuff, and it's to do with video camera, it's surveillance, security, stuff like that. And then he built his own little module circuits with 9-pin or 8-pin sockets after he built these little circuit boards in those little self-contained plastic canisters, small. They were just like gonna fit into the way he used it. They would fit into a 8-pin octo sockets.
I'll be darned. So they're little modules.
Yeah, and I couldn't tell you what they were doing. They were resistor, some transistors, capacitors, and it was about, I don't know, let's call it about 1 inch square by 2 inches tall, kind of a clear plastic. And then it actually had I don't know, somebody manufactured it because it had a little base, 4 screws that screwed into that plastic cover. And then he slipped some hand wired perf board or whatever. He drilled holes for the components and did point to point.
So do you have a camera to show it?
I don't think so. Some of it I definitely recycled out.
Oh.
And then to find that stuff now, a lot of that's like in a box here or there and waiting to show up at the at the show if I have any of it. As far as if it's all contained, because I just gleaned some of the stuff out of it. And then, like I said, I don't know, it's been almost a year ago. So I've been hanging on to it or wondering what to do with it. Kind of storing too much stuff that someone else would imagine, or certain people have had enough looking at it, they probably want some of it. Maybe.
Mhm.
I'll take so definitely have to get organized to bring stuff on for this Saturday. If somebody, and then if Franklin brings a camera, possibly, other people could just see what the stuff is, and then they could get a hold of me or something if anybody else doesn't get it at the Saturday. They'll know something exists. That's why I would suggest if Franklin was there, he could potentially show other people what is there, and maybe they can get a hold of the different members to possibly get what they think they want.
So we need to get that real-time link out before the thing happens.
Yeah, whatever the Zoom meeting, I guess you'd call it, or it'd be more of a Zoom.
So people would know. Yeah.
If Franklin, just records the.
Yeah, the problem is bandwidth from there though too. That's another problem that I have to work out. But I can use the streaming phone as a hotspot and see what I can do.
From the Grange, you mean, Franklin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the only thing, because it's kind of nice. We got, people like Mark Richardson and Rick Walton and Chris Butler, people that live all over the country, and they can join in once we go back to live meetings. If we keep the Zoom going, it'd be kind of nice,
Yeah, and that could be something like that. Maybe be used out at the Aurora show too, just to show potentially other people what's possible. Might be good advertising for it too, to record it on YouTube, that other people could see that there was a potentially auctions or whatever.
So the Grange is not going to get Wi-Fi, right? No.
I don't know. Not that I've heard.
It's too expensive because it's considered commercial, so it's not like it.
Sure.
Oh, really? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like $369 a month, which would be really $369 a day, because we're only using it once.
So
Yeah, no kidding.
There isn't a strong Wi-Fi signal in the neighborhood, is there?
Hack into the neighbors there.
Yes, maybe.
Or you ask permission.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, if there's a good signal.
Or just do a YouTube video and date it, or it be dated, but.
Well, we need
Give
the
people
real time
maybe
for most of it, though.
You need streaming.
Yeah.
Well, for the swap meet, yeah, that'd be fine if you wanted to just do a video of that, but with our meetings be able to include the members that can't attend, then.
So I can stream, but I can't do both. I can't do Zoom and stream at the same time.
Oh, okay.
But
That's the problem.
you can have people live chat when you stream, and then
Sure.
they can
They can
Yeah.
do that.
ask.
But then,
You can
you have to have
communicate with the
somebody that reads the live chat, because you can't do so many things at once sometimes. I mean, it becomes difficult sometimes, especially if you have 2 or 3 people talking to you.
Oh, no, and plus how many, just depends on how many rapid fires you get.
Yeah, exactly. It can be crazy.
Well, look like where we're at today.
I think we're done, huh?
Who would have guessed we would be doing video calls on our phones
Yeah.
or our computers or anything?
Yeah.
I remember that first Ma Bell phone that had video. Well, it wasn't really video. it took quite a while to put a still up on the screen of the phone. Never really went anywhere, but they had some demos of that.
I just think it's how amazing the cameras have become, how advanced and how clear they are.
Did you see the
And
shots
how-
from Mars today?
Yeah.
Oh,
A lot of
man.
those are just regular hero cams they're using.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it? It's fantastic.
Yeah,
They've got new ones up today, huh? I'll have to
Actually,
look.
fly the drone on Mars.
Oh, did they fly it yet?
No, I think it's tomorrow, isn't it?
Oh,
But they're getting it ready.
that'll
It's
be
gotta
neat to
charge
see.
up.
See if it
oh,
works.
yeah, no
they gotta see
kidding.
if it works.
So
The propeller
who
spins
here,
like so much faster because there's no atmosphere on Mars.
so
Well, yeah,
who
it's very,
here
very
went,
little, so.
Yeah, it's what, 10% of the atmosphere?
More like about 1 or 2%.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
not much.
Yeah.
I think it's
so
1 or
who
2%.
who here wants to move to Mars?
Well, they got to terraform it first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to go there. It's too cold.
Once it's terraformed, it'll be wonderful.
I don't think it'd be wonderful. It might be tolerable, but
We gotta
Yeah.
pump some CO2 in the atmosphere to warm it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
yeah.
And they need oxygen too, right? You got to make oxygen too as well.
It's kind of silly how the plants do that all for you.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they breathe, they feed off CO2.
Yep.
Right.
Otherwise they'll die.
Right.
Actually, there's a lot of bacterium too, right?
Yeah, fungi and
And
whatever else they absorb. And all the bugs and whatever fertilizes them. And
Elon Musk has put up $100 million for anyone that can come up with a viable way of extracting CO2.
I can breathe with them.
Extracting CO2 from the atmosphere. There you go.
You get a whole bunch of people in a room and pretty soon you got it.
Well, people they release CO2 actually. They extract oxygen.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. He could.
You plant a garden. That's all you
That's
got
right.
to do.
Exactly.
And then that'll work.
You just need to have some of those ancient bacterium that will, fill a sea full of all that bacterium, and then it'll produce all the oxygen and eat up all the CO2.
Isn't that what plankton does?
Yeah, photosynthesis of plankton, right?
Yeah.
But the ancient ones are the ones that produces so much, I guess, is what they say.
Yeah, and they have red tide out there that floats around, and none of the fish can live in it because it's no oxygen.
Yeah, it takes oxygen out of the water.
So there's plenty of available plant life that I think people can figure out how to use.
Mhm.
That helicopter has to charge all day to fly for 90 seconds. And
Oh my
it uses
gosh.
all the-
Of course.
And it uses all the power to keep itself warm at night is the problem.
Yeah. Well, it's not getting as much sun energy as we do here. They're quite a ways further.
I would think they would get more because there's no atmosphere.
Haven't you ever heard of
Well, that's a good point too, that way. But
The solar
I don't know.
panels are small.
Yeah, well, it's going to depend on the distance still too. So it's the inverse square law. So if it's twice the distance, it's going to get one quarter of the energy.
how about a nuclear power cell?
Well, that's what runs the rover. It's nuclear.
Plutonium.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, listen, guys, I'm gonna head out. I gotta grab my computer and take it back in the house and stuff. So hope everybody liked the tech talk.
You did a wonderful job, Mike. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah, next time you
Yeah,
got Phil.
Mike,
for the
thanks-
care
thanks
part.
a lot.
Hey, Lyles? Hey, Lyles,
Yeah.
they changed the time.
Wh-